Hi, I'm Jennifer Janish, owner of Adored Salon and Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions. I'm obsessed with curly hair. I cut it, style it, and extend it, and this podcast is all about my curly girl obsessions that stretch far beyond just curly hair.
Hey guys, it's me, Jennifer, from the Curly Girls Obsessions, which you are listening to right now. Jennifer from behind the chair at Adored Salon and the owner of Adored Salon, the owner and creator of Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions. So today on the Curly Girls Obsessions, if you've been watching for a while, you know I cover a bunch of different topics. We don't just narrow this down to just curly hair. I talk about all the things that I just described, being the salon owner, the business owner, the risk taker, the girl behind the scenes, the girl cutting the hair, the things I do to have to motivate myself, the haters, the lovers, all the things, right? And a couple weeks ago, I did a podcast about business, and I had posted on my social media story, like the questions box, ask me any question you want about business. And it was pretty great because I got a lot of responses of things that I just didn't think about, right? And well, I didn't think that people would want to hear about it. And one of the things was, how do you respond to the haters, right? Because the world is full of trolls on social media, Google reviews, all the things, right? 35 years ago, when I started being a hairstylist, it pretty much was just word of mouth. You did not have to worry about all these other areas in which people could spew out rotten things about you, right? Even if you did a good job and they just decided that they didn't like the way you said the word water or something. It all exists. I remember one time our front desk girl got a Google review because someone took the time to write the Google review because they didn't like the way that she shampooed their hair. And it was that she was like wearing a short sleeve shirt or something. It was something so darn ridiculous. So all the things are out there, right? But the one type of Google review that you just don't expect to see is a false one, right? Like, it's gonna totally take you by surprise every time because you're like, how is that person associated with me? Were they ever even in our business? Were they did they get a service from us? Did they purchase hair from the extension line? All the things. So in this episode, I'm gonna take you way back. I'm gonna take you back to the beginning of Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair. And I'm just gonna list out the things that I have learned as a person, a business owner, and a product creator. And when you're dealing with business overseas and people, because you never know who you're really dealing with. And let me preface this by saying that when I was searching out a supplier in India is the world's largest hair distributor. China is the world's largest hair manufacturer. And other countries come into play, but India is where the majority of these places get their hair because of the Hindu religion, because of this belief that they have called tansering, which is a pilgrimage to the temples to shave their heads for various things, coming of age, prosperity, better health, like whatever you could think of making a sacrifice for, that's what they're sacrificing their hair for. These temples employ 10 to 12,000 barbers a day to do this, to shave heads. I mean, that's pretty impressive when you think about it. India has the world's largest, the population there, it's so dense. And they have, in that dense population, I believe it's 78% of the people there believe in the Hindu religion. So you can just imagine, like, all of those numbers, the 10 to 12,000 barbers, 78%, like, huge, massive population. There's a lot of hair donating going on there, right? So they are the world's largest distributor. That means that they ship it out to a bunch of other countries. Finding a supplier who goes to the temples and purchases the hair and then is also willing to make the hand-tied product for me is like finding a needle in a haystack. Sorry if you can hear my dogs, they're right next to me. And finding a good one is like finding a speck in a haystack, right? And so when I started my journey, I started out with my first supplier. Sorry, that bone is driving me crazy. I started out with my first supplier, and he was in New Delhi, and this was in 2019 or 2018 actually, I believe. And you know, it was like rose-colored glasses. Everything I wanted, he was doing, he was producing, I was getting hair, and it was like a very good relationship. There was a lot of communication and things were going well. And I was warned from another supplier within the US that this person was not all that he was cracked up to be, right? And I was like, oh God, I have so much money invested already in this business. Things are going well. Like, I'm not gonna believe you. But I may have started seeing the reality of the situation at that point. There may have been some signs. I cannot remember when the ship really crashed into the shore with this person. Like when it became obvious that I wasn't dealing with someone who was actually sane, right? And again, when I tell you the investment, when you're dealing with India, you're not giving India your credit card for your business. You're wiring money to India. So you may as well drop some cash in an envelope and ship it across the ocean, because that's how it works, right? It's not like, oh, hey, American Express, this person was an idiot and screwed this up, I need my money back. No, that's not happening. So when this other supplier who's within the United States told me this, I was like, oh God. And in some respects, I wish I would have taken the advice, but maybe I needed to walk through the fire with this person to learn everything that I learned through the traumatic experience that he took me on, which I'm about to take you on. And in order to get to the other side, be better, do better, all the things, right? So, the whole operation is going. I'm pretty much the only one in the United States at this point. Sorry, got a lash in my eye. In the United States at this point with naturally textured, wavy to curly hair extensions from India. Like, it's totally like the diamond in the rough, right? Everybody else's hair is from China. It's permed if it has texture. If it doesn't have texture, it's straight. And if it's permed, usually the integrity of it is compromised. If you're watching this on YouTube, my lash is like in my eyelid, right there. I think I got it. Anyways, so permed, and the integrity, typically when that happens, because of all the chemical processes that it goes through along the way, it's usually compromised. I have had in my hair straight hair extensions, permed hair extensions. None of it fit the bill to match my hair texture. Drove me crazy. That's how I started Adored Signature Hair. So here we are going through the motions. And when I tell you, like, wiring money across the ocean, you're talking $40,000 to $65,000 going in wires, and me waiting anywhere from, 12 to 22 weeks to get the product back, depending on when it was. COVID really put like a monkey wrench in the whole thing. And I feel like that's when tensions between this person and I really heated up. And it wasn't, I mean, I'm paying him for the service. So the tension really was only on my side to quicken up production and get me the product faster, because as you know, if you own a business and you're dumping that much money into something, you pretty much want to see automatic return. You're not waiting 4 months for the return on the investment, right? Like it should be quick, like the hair should come back, I should be able to sell it, but that's just not how it works, right? Because everything is custom made. So there was an instance in which I got a batch of hair, curly hair extensions, that I waited 16 weeks for. And when they came, they were like a matted ball of, I don't even know what. And I remember him telling me like, well, did you get them wet? And I was like, dude, listen, if water is the problem, we got real problems here, because this hair is going in people's heads. Like, it should be able to get wet. You should never freaking ask me that. And when you look at this mat ball, you should be shitting in your pants trying to figure out how to replace this, right? And you know, for those of you out there who are thinking about starting a hairline, these are the things that you should take in consideration, because it is a risky business. It's not like you ordered up some damn shampoo on Amazon and it showed up. Like, you're waiting on hair, and all hair types and textures are different. And if the manufacturer of the product isn't doing ethical things, then you're going to be screwed. And in this industry, there really is no checks and balances. Basically, it's your check, and then hopefully it balances when it gets to your door and it is the proper product. And so in this scenario, it wasn't. And he was just, it turned into a nightmare. What ended up happening was, before making things right, he cut me off of all social communication. I was cut off of WhatsApp from him. I couldn't message him on Instagram. I couldn't find him anywhere, right? And this was like the childlike behavior that I dealt with, that the other supplier had warned me about, right? So I was like, oh my God. And you may have heard me tell this story before. Like, I was like, okay, Jennifer, this is not Jennifer, the hairdresser behind the chair anymore. This is Jennifer, the CEO of a business that is like selling hair across the world at this point. You need to not act like a baby here. Act like a grown adult. And I mean, and not that I was acting like a baby, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Like, put your big girl pants on and take this on like the businesswoman you are. And that means, are you willing to risk it all at this point? Because I was fed up to here with this person. And I was like, yep, I'm going to have to be. And so earlier in the relationship, I had asked for his mother's phone number and his wife's phone number on WhatsApp in case something ever had happened to him. Lo and behold, I messaged the mother in India, and I tell her that, and she was a partner in this company, so it was totally appropriate. It's not like I'm tattling on him, right? And I say, this is what your son has been doing. This is what has happened to me. And if you're willing to lose this account, no need to respond. I will figure something else out. If you're still interested in having me as your business partner, you better respond and make this right and tell your son to get my ass back on WhatsApp, and we need to figure this out. Instantly, I get a response from her. I mean, the amount of money that I was doing business with this company at that time was huge. To lose me as an account would have been massive, because they were, I mean, in India, what that amount of money from American dollar translates to was huge. And they were building like their full-blown factory from orders, right? They had a nice setup because of the business that they had with me. And so she responds, yes, dear, please, let's discuss this further. I don't want to lose you as a client. So-and-so's been going through stuff, and sometimes he throws temper tantrums. And, I'm sitting here as a mom of 4 kids. Yeah, your kid throws temper tantrums. He's like in his mid-30s. And maybe it's because you never gave him a talking to when he needed it to. Stop treating him like a freaking prince and get on with this bullshit. Because this is ridiculous. So we did. We made that order right. And it took them sending me increments of hair over the course of the next year, putting it into other orders that I had ordered. So it took me a long time to earn that money back. And all the while, at that point was kind of like the wake-up point that I had for myself, was like, this is not going to be sustainable with this person. You definitely need to figure something out with someone else, and that means you're going to have to do the work to find another supplier who's willing to manufacture the product that you want, right? So I started that, all the while still doing business over here. And over here I was, oh my God, my dogs, boys. And I was working with a new supplier, and I was sending product like this is how I would like this to be, this is how I would like this not to be, this is not right, I don't like this, XYZ. It took over a year to perfect the product, right? And once it was perfected, I cut the ties with the other person. There was no greater day in my life than saying later to the jerk on the other side of WhatsApp. And there was also, within this year of getting that money back, more times in which he cut me off of social areas because of something I said. I remember I made the Karen styling videos for Adored Signature, and because there was this disconnect, right? Everybody wanted the wavy or curly hair extensions, but everybody only knew straight hair extensions, and they thought it would be the same. And I was like, I cannot handle these customer service issues. I've got to be able to do this in a broad way, so I'm not sitting in my DMs all night. So I made the Karen styling videos. It was 17 videos in curly, and then we also did beach wave and subtle body. Later on, we just dropped off beach wave and subtle body and stuck with the curly because I felt like that was the most impactful. He felt that he should be entitled to those videos, and I was like, oh hell no, you are not getting your hands on this. This is my work, this is not your work. And so, as you can see, I think he thought that he had ownership in my business here because he created the product in India. And again, big no-no, big red flag. If I was a heating and air company and I bought, just for instance, Jennifer Heating and Air, and I bought, Train products, the Train Heating and Air whatever, one is right outside my window. They wouldn't expect to be a part of my business, and they wouldn't expect to get my email list, or they wouldn't expect to, if I came up with some new brilliant way on how to install the product, they wouldn't expect it to be theirs, right? So that's how I'm making this analogy. I'm ready to kill my dogs. If you guys can hear them, I'm sorry. But that's how it went down with him. And so, okay, I'm back. And hopefully these two are quiet. So you get what I'm talking about, right? That was a moment where he just totally again cut me off and was furious. I couldn't get through that year fast enough. I couldn't get back my money fast enough. And, had it been a smaller dollar amount, I might have been willing to walk away from it, but it was a lot of money that would have been in this order that I needed to get back. So I get through the year, I cut him off, and like I said, it was like the happiest day of my life. And since then, I have gotten messages in WhatsApp under another number because I blocked his, and calling me out, saying horrendous things, like things that you would never even imagine. So clearly this has been an abusive, like manipulative, mental kind of relationship. It's bad in every way, shape, or the form. And if he lived in the United States, it really kind of probably would have been even harder to say, right? But regardless, moving forward, right, I'll see these things come through and they'll be whatever. So to the crux of the story here. I am working on my computer this weekend, and I see that Adore Signature Hand-Tied Hair Extensions got a Google review with 3 stars. And I'm like, what the heck is this? And this is where you're like, someone really took a lot of time to be crazy. And in this Google review is a picture. I'm looking at it right now. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna turn my camera around so you guys can actually see this. And it's a woman with like yellow rubber gloves holding a mop with men behind her, and it says Adored Signature Hand-Tied Hair on the wall behind her. And it's coming from this group called Honest 500 Consulting. 7 reviews, 13 photos, and it, like, nothing gets me more angry. Like, if you're gonna leave a review, put a face behind it, because only a coward does not put a face behind a negative review. Well, actually it was 3 stars, so I guess he was trying to be good, but I know exactly where it's coming from. And the caption is, this woman used to be a maid and now also is very committed and works hard to clean the toilets of her clients herself, ... Very good work. Keep the humility up. Now I know where this is coming from. And he, like, I guess the only part in it that is satisfactory is to know that this far out, so it's like 2.5 years later, maybe it's 3 years later, that I still get under his skin enough for him to leave this review for me. To take the time to Photoshop this photo and leave this crazy review. Let me see if I can turn this around. It's not gonna let me. Honestly, I'll put a photo at the end of this podcast, or I'll try to edit it in there. But this story is one of those where everything, and if you watch from afar, you probably are like, oh my gosh, she makes it look easy. She has her shit all together, right? And everything is always running perfectly over there. And the truth of the matter is, just like everybody else, I'm human. Things have gone south. And in business, this is one of those takeaways where, like, had I taken the advice of the original supplier in the beginning, I don't think that I would still be owning this hairline today or have made it what it has become, because I would have stopped. I don't think that I would have tried to find someone else. And in the beginning, I said about having to go through these hurdles to get to the other side. Like, there are those things that God puts in front of us for us to grow. All of the situations that I experienced with him made me grow tenfold, probably even 100-fold, right? Because I used to think I had a thick skin before, And after that happened, I was like, yeah, girl, you're the bitch boss here, because it really was like that moment in time where I was like, you either cross the threshold and you go all in, or you just gonna cower into the corner. Like, take your pick. And your personality, it better be all systems go, because you're not going to settle for this bullshit, right? And as the same with reviews with haters, like, you know what? I can outwork the haters. I can outwork the problems. I know that what I do is quality. And so now when I get a review like this, of course I know where it's coming from. In the beginning, I might have died a slow death over the course of a week before I was okay. But it's just kind of one of those things, you're like, this is life, this is business, and you've got to move forward. So this podcast, I'm going to keep this at under 30 minutes, and I'm going to keep it on point. And the point is, the haters are going to hate. And you know what? It's like, leave that lasting impression that keeps you in everyone's mind 24/7, right? For me, it's like, okay, if you think of curly hair, who are you thinking of? What are you thinking of? Jennifer Janish, she is a curly hair expert, and the salon, Adored Salon, she has, 4 other stylists that work with her that are total goats of curly hair. Like, we have done the thing to get there with natural curly hair and with hair extensions and curly hair. And I'm not going to let that hate get me down. I'm not going to let that bullshit invade my inner circle and bother me. And that's why I'm sharing this, because it's actually a really good laugh. So when you see the photo, she does have curly hair, but she doesn't look like me. Just gonna say it. He could have picked a better photo. He could have even freaking photoshopped a photo of me, but he didn't. And see you later. So glad I'm not with you anymore. And so glad that you are not my hair supplier. So glad that I'm not going through that drama and that childish behavior that I once had to deal with. And just make things be right all the time. But silently in my mind, I was going crazy as well. And so kudos to not cracking 3 and 4 years ago when the shit was hitting the fan and things were going south, and I was trying to figure out how to get forward and how to get out of it. If you are in a situation where you need to see the light, like be it business, body, being, balance, like any of the 4 categories, right? All the things. There's always a way to the better path. It just takes one foot in front of the other. It takes determination to figure out how you're going to move forward and how you're going to get the job done. And when you get there and you get it done, you'll be so damn glad that you got it done and that you actually completed it for yourself. Hands down. Okay, guys, here's the review. You can see the maid is not me. And this person has also left like multiple reviews on businesses in India about hair, giving away exactly who they are, and one for a strip club. It's actually kind of funny. So I hope this gave you a little insight into how to overcome the hate. So that's the message for today on the Curly Girls Obsessions. It's kind of a mixed bag. The haters are going to hate, the lovers are going to love. Stick to your raving fans, and if you want to get something done, put one foot in front of the other, and eventually you will get there. Thanks for listening. Please, if you don't already, subscribe or follow. That helps this show grow. If you know someone who could benefit from this, send it to them. drop us a comment down in the DMs and let us know what you think. And hopefully it's all love. And I'll see you next week.